Thank you very much for attending our annual results announcement. As you know, we're changing the format a little bit. We usually have the management sitting over here. And I think because they're all going to have to face you for about an hour, and you have to see their facial expressions, so they decided it's much more comfortable sitting down there. But the truth is we just have too many senior management, so I decided that everybody can comfortably sit down. So whoever is going to speak, whoever is going to answer questions will come up here. Otherwise, we will begin. Okay. I will have a very quick intro, and then our CFO will give you, a quick overview of the financials, and I will come back and talk a little bit about strategy, but I will open up for Q&A a lot earlier than usual. Just very quickly on the highlight. 2015 is a very big year for Hong Kong Exchange. We have a record-breaking revenue and record-breaking, profit after tax, and, up respectively 36% and 54% respectively. This is also a year it's a full-year record for ADT and ADV in cash and derivative markets, largely driven by market sentiment and supported by the Stock Connect program. And this is obviously very much aligned in line with a very major market movement in China. And in terms of our traditional business in the IPO fund raised, we are again back on top, global number one in IPO fund raised, up 13% year over year. And this is the record fundraising year, for us. This is also a year that we successfully commercialized LME, and with the full fee, trading fee significantly increased and then operated for the entire year. This is also the first year we have LME Clear operating completely, for a full year for the first time. And we have prepared, and we are now setting all the preparations down to launch further China Connect programs. And we're just ready and, to be prepared and pending regulatory approval. And lastly, we announced the next 3-year strategic plan. There are a lot of components in that plan, and some of which I'm sure we're going to cover today. And but this is going to be the beginning of another year, another 3-year cycle. And obviously this year is nothing like last year so far, and so it's going to be very interesting. So I'm going to ask Paul to focus a little bit on the last year first, because it is very hard to find a year to feel so good about ourselves, about yourselves, about the market, about everything. Right now, it's not one of those times, but today is one of the better times, and Hang Seng Index, has not get up above 20,000 for quite a while. So very glad to see that we're finally touching it, just a little bit above it, and close the market at 20,003 points. So very happy today, and it's a good day for us to announce the results, and hopefully the rest of the year, will be better. Thank you very much, Paul. Yeah.
Thank you, Charles. I think most of what I was going to say, Charles has already said. So it's a fantastic year. It's great to be standing up here announcing profits at a record level of nearly 8 billion. The key thing, I think, to focus on here is most of the underlying reasons for that increase this year were already known. We announced the third quarter results a little while ago. All the growth factors that have contributed to that 8 billion were there. The fourth quarter, turnover was down. ADT was down 30%. Third quarter was inflated by things like Worldwide House, but basically no surprises. So in the results, you shouldn't be surprised by the numbers. And in fact, the consensus forecast of analysts is pretty much spot on. So well done, guys. Here are the numbers. Revenue's up by 3.5 billion. So incredible growth, and it comes from 3 main areas. The first is obviously the turnover-related activity in Hong Kong. That's the trading activity, it's the clearing activity, it's the custodian nominee services activity, and that's about $2 billion worth. So of that 3.5 billion, 2 billion comes from Hong Kong-related activity on the market, so that uplift generated that income. About $1 billion comes from new money from LME. That's both from the commercialization of LME's trading fees, which happened from the 1st of January, and also a full year of profits from LME Clear, which contributed an additional 600 million this year. So a strong performance from LME this year, fully commercialized, firing on all cylinders, and it's added about $1 billion to our revenue. We've had a number of one-off items, principally the sale of our property at Worldwide House, added about 450 million. A few other bits and pieces, some interest on the Lehman's debt that we had outstanding. So another $500 million from those sources. So overall, three main sources of growth. Hong Kong, 2 billion, LME, 1 billion, one-offs, $500 million. As we look across the page, operating expenses up 11%, and I'll talk a little bit about that later on. That is slightly lower than we thought it would come in at, so we're quite pleased with that number, notwithstanding the fact it's double-digit growth. And then the other point, which I make each time I stand up here, is that all of that growth has flowed straight across the page to the right-hand side. 90% of that will be paid out to our shareholders, and our dividend this year goes up from $3.98 last year to $5.95 this year, a final dividend of $2.87. So hopefully that will be a reward for our shareholders. Looking at the next page, performance by operating segment. I won't dwell on this. I think it's fairly obvious that with the income growth, the EBITDA margin is going to go up. Looking at the right-hand side, 75% EBITDA margin, really a record margin here. I can't say that we expect that to be sustained. Going forward, we expect to come much more back to a cost-to-income ratio of around 30%. But it will vary up and down, obviously, with market volumes. Looking at the next slide, operating expenses. Staff costs have gone up by a lot. That is due partly to the fact that we launched a new business last year. The LME Clear headcount was coming on stream. It's partly due to the fact we're investing in our strategy. We're investing in people. There is some headcount growth during last year. There's also some salary increment that goes in there. Very much something that's important to the continuation of our strategy. We had pretty flat costs in the IT space and in the premises space. We managed to hold down costs in premises through a restructuring of some of our premises. We have a new initiative to try and consolidate our premises. And in the IT space, the savings that have come through from the LME Clear insourcing of IT resources, around over 100 people that used to be outsourced are now insourced, have kept costs down in that area. In the legal and professional fees, fees are down significantly. That is partly due to around $48 million less expenditure on litigation costs. That's with the litigation in the US, in particular the warehouse litigation, coming, if not to a final close, then near close. And also, as we go across further to the right-hand side, small increase in operating expenses and depreciation and amortization pretty flat. I put in a slide, a new slide this year, which I will try and get up if I can. Can I have some technology help? Okay. This slide. I wanted to highlight the 2015 results in the context of the trend of results over the last couple of years. And I've just put 2 years in here because clearly I think everyone understands we had a massive bull run in the second quarter, came off in the third quarter, and we've come down again in the fourth quarter. But what's happened is we've returned essentially to where we were at the end of 2014. So if you line up the fourth quarter 2015 with the fourth quarter 2014, you get a sense of déjà vu. They are very, very similar. Now, we've had some additional income from LME in the fourth quarter of 2015, so they're not identical, but if you line them up side by side, they look very similar. So what's happening is we've returned to that normal trend line. That's not to say we don't believe that we will get back to the types of volumes we saw in the summer. We do. That's what our strategy is aiming for. But for the time being, we're back down to that sort of 2014 level. And if you look at year-to-date ATD in 2016, it's 74 billion. The average for 2014 was 69.5. So we're still running ahead of that, and as Charles alluded to, today is a great day, 90-odd billion turnover, so hopefully that's some green shoots showing through. If we look at our balance sheet, we have a much stronger balance sheet than we did a year ago. That profit that we earned this year has helped shore up that balance sheet, but so has some structural things we've done. We've redeemed our convertible bond. That's $3.5 billion of debt that's now off our balance sheet. We've got $5 billion more of corporate funds. And our equity, our shareholders' equity, has gone up by $8 billion. So our balance sheet is looking much stronger. Not that it was weak before, but it is a very, very strong balance sheet. I'll now hand back to Charles to talk about strategy. Thank you.
Okay. I don't think I will spend a lot of time going over the strategy because many of you have heard it before. We had the annual media event, and then we also had an analyst briefing on our strategy. So I will only just be very quickly going over some of the key highlights, but more importantly, to open up for questions so that we can focus on things that are of your specific concern. Our strategy essentially continued to be looking at the positioning of Hong Kong and Hong Kong Exchange. And we wanted to develop the three asset classes, and each of them trying to connecting different pieces together. In our equity piece, we continue to bring the China companies listing here, international investors here, but more and more we're trying to look beyond that. We look at reform, we look at connecting more. We look at connecting different kind of people. We used to connect international investors with China companies in Hong Kong, and in the future we would like to be able to connect investors directly to China, maybe directly connecting international companies to Chinese investors through Primary Connect. So we are really looking at very different dimensions of the various connect concept. And when China is very strong, when the market sentiment is very strong, we obviously want to connect on the things that are immediately available. When they are not, that strong, we are now going into some of the structure issues and structure channels to build the connectivity. In commodity, we talked about it earlier, about really two big directions. For LME, which is largely a physical-driven market, OTC market, used largely by physical users and actual real economic users, and not us, but much by financial speculators. We would like to bring a greater level of financial participation in LME through a Project Silk, which is the London Connect, and whether or not we do a full connect or whether we do a partial connect is all something that we are looking at, and we're evaluating the pros and cons, the risk and reward of that. But probably the most unconventional things that we will be doing, that we'll be talking to you a lot more into the future, is what we are going to be doing inside China. What we call this word, grammatically is not the right words, but conceptually is trying to physicalizing China. Because China's commodity market is top-heavy, very heavy speculatively driven trading, very little real physical users, and we wanted to fill that gap, and that will allow us to build a massive benchmark on physical spot trading, and that benchmark will allow us to futurize or allow us to otherwise, take the value out of that efforts. So essentially, if you want to think in equity terms, equity, we have companies coming to Hong Kong to list. And then you have a secondary market to trade. And then you have index futures and other derivatives on top of it. Commodity market is largely a futures market. But futures market usually is based on something. And today, our commodity strategy is to go into China to open and create an IPO market of commodities. Because the commodities are not going to come to Hong Kong on their own. Unlike companies which can. They're humans. Commodities are goods. They're not going to be able to come on their own. So we need to go there to create a physical market, almost like a cash market. And then there will be enough trading by people there through forwards, through various parts of it, financing. And then on top of it, over time, we will do futures, whether we do it inside China, whether we do it here, or whether we do some sort of a hybrid is remain to be seen into the future. We are obviously also moving into a number of other areas like FIC. We're building a bond connect, exploring the building of a bond connect so that we can begin to get into the fixed income business. So on the Hong Kong-based FIC, we will be launching a whole range of products. The point of all that is to create a critical mass of cluster of products, particularly evolving around renminbi. So we have a renminbi dollar contract, a dollar renminbi contract today. We will be launching a renminbi dollar contract. It's basically today our contract is dollar renminbi. P&L are settled in dollars, in renminbi. Margins are funded in renminbi. We will potentially also launch a product. We actually, price it and settles the P&L in dollars, and so that the margins can be paid in dollars. So they are the flip of the current currency contract. And then we are also offering a few pairs with yen, with euro, with rupiah, and also there's one more Malaysian ringgit, Aussie as well. We are also potentially in the second half considering offering a physically settled gold contract in renminbi and dollar in one pair. All of this is going to create what we consider to be a critical mass of clusters of pairings and currency futures contracts that will allow a variety of different users who have a variety of needs to come to trade, and their differences in between of them will very quickly be able to be arbitraged by speculators and other investors. So this is likely going to really accelerate. So if you think about the original, currency futures contract is one piece of wood in this fire. We're now putting a variety of different kind of wood. So when the fire do eventually catch up, it's going to be a pretty significant fire and will sustain. We have a whole range of market infrastructure and platform initiatives. I'm not going to go through each one of them. You can ask me if you are particularly interested in any one of them. This is the continuation of enhancing our market to make it continue to be competitive, continue to be on the cutting edge, and continue to be able to solve problems. And we're doing a lot of this. Historically, we used to be focusing on the EPs only. Now we're increasingly looking at the needs of our end customers, which are the buy side, and that will allow us to really, and also that also give us the tremendous amount of feedback so that we begin to launch a lot of product that we believe that will be actively taken up by our investor base. With that, I will open up for questions. I think we're going to take turns. Scott is going to manage that.
We'll go back and forth, as Charles said, analysts and then reporters. Just very quickly, we will do these questions in English, Mandarin, or Cantonese. But to do that, we need simultaneous interpretation, so we need you to help us by waiting for the mic, telling us your name, and then putting the question. So without further ado, let's start over here with Mr. York Poon.
Thank you very much. This is York Poon from HSBC. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate for the strong earnings growth last year. I do have three questions. One strategic, two financial.
Can you cut it into two?
Okay, two then. One financial and then one strategic. There are a lot of good things in your strategic plan. But if we can, narrow the time frame a little bit. In the coming few months, what are we most likely to hear from you? That's the first question. And then the second question is, we noticed, the tax rate was particularly low in the fourth quarter last year. I know there's some of tax credits here, but what's the likely guidance in the coming, in the going forward? I thought the LME tax rate is much higher than Hong Kong here. Thank you.
Okay. I will get Paul to answer that tax question later. And just very quickly, I think the strategy, you said next 2 months. I don't look at things next 2 months. And also, if there is something that I know in the next 2 months I have to do, I either have to make an announcement or I have to do it quietly. Either way, I probably shouldn't be talking about it. Not trying to be cute. Let me just think what other things. I don't think anything big is going to come in the next 2 months. we're making, very, lots of efforts on a lot of things. And also, we're not really, obviously, if the regulator deliver approval on Shenzhen Connect, and that can come anytime. They can come tomorrow. They can come 2 months from now. They can come, 6 months from now. I don't really know. I don't have anything else that I can really talk about that we will be able to deliver in the next 2 months. But I think in the next 2 months, the different pairings of renminbi contracts, probably we're hoping by the end of the 2 months, we will be able to hear from the regulators as to whether or not it's a go or not. And that will be sort of the right time frame. Thank you.
Go to the media side. Maybe the gentleman here in the black sweater. I'm sorry. Exactly, Paul. I apologize. Yes, Texas.
I would suggest the tax question is probably a small segment of the population here, and I would suggest that come to Paul after the presentation if you're interested in that tax question. I'm sure he will answer it. There are a lot of others probably, tax is not on their top of their mind right now.
The gentleman here, I think he's a reporter with a sweater.
小佳你好，我是香港当财经台记者梁千佑。今天第一次看到你在那个新股通跟这个三板有一个比较详细的一个介绍。其实在那个三板里边，证监会已经说了，感觉先要在创业板那个现在那个模型要先检讨，才看有没有这个空间。但是你说其实现在那个三板你感觉那个启动的阻力也是比较小的。那如果这样的话，两个方法实施是不是同样有一个比较难的困难？另外，这个新股通里边，第一次你说到有那个内投外跟外投内，那现在在内地资本市场比较担心这个资本流出的问题的时候，是不是一定两个方向要一同来这个开通才可以做到？可不可以先做这个外投内的？
好，谢谢，非常好的问题啊。这个我觉得讲第一个问题呢，我记得前几天好像有些媒体说，哎呀，证监会和港交所又不同意见了，不咬弦了。这个我就想澄清一下啊，他们是大老板，我们是小老板，绝对的是证监会说了算。那么呢，所以说呢，什么事情一旦有不同，一定是证监会的说了算。好吧，这个首先咱把这个第一个澄清了，那么呢，我们讲的是什么呢？就是说我们也不是说，因为当时在这个 media event 的时候，我们说的很清楚，就是说在这个方面的话呢，要么要对 GEM 进行一个审阅和看看能不能在上面做进一步的改进。那我们呢打了个问号，说要么就是做三板。我们这个文章里边的话呢，主要是想给大家解释一个什么问题呢？就这两件事情呢，是如果是能够在存量上做改革的话呢，当然存量上改革的话呢是比较是大家直觉上觉得呢，既然是说 GEM 今天还有不够完美的地方，能够有可以改善的，把它变得更加完善的必要。那如果在 GEM 上能够做，那当然在 GEM 上做是非常合适的。那么呢，但是呢，我们在说呢，就是说今天在讨论，我们实际上回过头来要问自己一个问题，就是为什么要改革？我们这个市场实际上一个总体来说是个非常成功的市场，有1000多家非常好的优秀的上市公司，是一个世界级的一个上市的一个上市地。但是呢，我们这个市场也像任何一个市场一样，也有我们这个市场的问题和一些目前需要完善的地方。大家一般常说的咱们这个市场呢，大概的问题呢，就是第一呢，就是说我们有些好的公司呢进不来，那特别是一些新兴的公司进不来。也有一些批评呢，说我们有些公司已经不怎么样了，已经很差了，出不去，对吧？这就是我们的一个矛盾。那么呢，我们每次要改革的时候呢，这件事情要改革的时候呢，经常就是一旦想说，那怎么能让坏公司不要进来？那坏公司不要进来，就把标准提得很高，就可以不进来。可是把标准提得很高，建一堵墙，那就意味着很多好公司也进不来了。那如果这个墙能够彻底的把坏公司挡在门外的话，那也有可能值得。但我们都知道墙建多高，你有些公司建墙的时候它是可以合格的，是完全可以的，但上市以后又变坏了，那你也保证不了。所以说呢，就是把这个一个上市的准入 无限提高本身解决不了问题，而且有可能把很多很好的公司呢无法在我们这个市场上发展。建们本来就是希望能够有一些新兴的公司能够在香港发展，把香港的创新的气氛带起来。所以说我实际上我的这个观点呢，就是说我们在讲什么东西可进的时候呢，更重要的要看什么东西应该出去。那什么东西应该出去？那个已经有很多的这些股票能够在这个地方长期的不行，有一些是壳股，有些人管我们这些叫什么僵尸股啊等等，这不是我说，是有这个大家报纸报道的。那这些呢，它将来如果不应该在这待的话呢，它是不是有一个强制的一个退出机制？但是退出机制要在香港做，大家也知道，这已经是有一个很大的利益群体。你这个利益群体要作为一个正义的程序正义和一个财产保护的话呢，你不能轻易的说政府想说，监管想说想把它改了就改了，那一定要广大的咨询，需要大家得到市场上的一种共识。以前也试过，不是没有风险，对吧？那我们是说，大家愿意一起大家一起愿意这么做，一起认为这是一个正确的道路，那我们就这样走下去。如果觉得呢暂时这样做不够合适，还是有一定的风险，大家觉得可能在新的增量上做起来的话呢，可能更快、更便捷，然后回过头来慢慢的影响和倒逼现有的市场的改变，也是一种方式。这都是方式，不同的方式。最终选什么方式，我觉得大家都应该集思广益，多出主意。但最终呢，还是要有监管当局，有香港证监会呢，那个最终的定夺，好吧？我们是最后呢，监管者说什么，我们就做什么。新股通，对，新股通是非常好的问题。这新股通呢，首先呢，我们觉得这个内投外和外投内这两件事情呢，没有必要的一定是必须同时有，可以先有一个，后有第二个，对吧？那么今天的中国呢，是有一个最近呢，大家对资本的外流是比较注意的，也比较在意的，大家认为这是一个风险，想避免这个风险，所以说短期内呢，可能对资本的往外走会有一定的顾虑。但是我是觉得呢，之所以我们说到这个内投外呢，这个内投外是通过沪港通的形式来做，它实际上呢是一种非常安全的、非常有管理的、非常可控的、非常透明的，是在中国监管体系里边拥抱下的一种外投、内投外，是中国老百姓的、中国的国民财富全球配置，这是一个大趋势，这是个大需求。这个是一个大服务，我们作为业界一定要提供这个服务。那么呢，这个呢，如果以沪港通的形式做的话呢，它实际上在这个外流的这个问题上呢，实际上是非常可控的，因为这一切都是可控的，而且卖完了以后呢，这个钱又回到了国内。所以说，这个我们觉得呢，实际上从某种意义上讲呢，越是在今天比较困难的时候，越体现了沪港通实际上是一种非常安全可靠的一种新型的投资方式。但是两个方向呢，不一定非得同时进行。
We're also taking questions from live webcast viewers. Our next one is an analyst with BOCOM International, Juan Lee, who has asked, why the clearing fees from LME clear extremely low in the fourth quarter of 2015? Any guidance on LME's clearing fees for 2016 earnings?
Do you guys want to take some time and then come back later for me to handle another question? Or you want to do it now? Come up. Yeah. No, here.
For every $100 that LME earns in trading revenue, it earns $40 in clearing revenue. And as you saw from the ADT graphs that Charles showed earlier, the commodity volumes are very similar. You know, a reasonable first quarter, very good second and third, and a very poor fourth quarter as commodity markets around the world went down and volumes declined. So it's a very simple answer, is that volumes declined in the fourth quarter, and the clearing revenues are tied directly to the trading volumes and the trading revenues. So there's nothing particularly to analyse in that regard. It's simply directly linked to the volume. And as I say, I repeat, for every 100 in trading revenue, it's 40 in clearing revenue. So there is no other or special answer to that.
Thank you.
Let's from now on just do one question per person. We've said this before. If there's more than one, Charles can pick the one he likes best and ignore the other ones. Okay. Media, our friend Gregor in the blue shirt, gray jacket, second row.
Hi, thanks very much. Gregor from Wall Street Journal here. What do you make of the recently proposed merger between the LSE Group and Deutsche Börse? And do you see any openings there for HKEX as well?
Yeah, it is a very major transaction in our space. And if this merger does take place, obviously you have a pan-European exchange powerhouse emerging on the horizon. So we're watching it very closely, and I do not want it to comment beyond that. But don't take that as a saying, oh, maybe they're doing something, that's why you couldn't talk about it. And I'm not saying we're doing something. I'm not saying we're not doing something. We're simply saying we're not commenting on something that is pretty big and it's pretty important for the industry. It may or may not have a lot of impact on us, and clearly it does not have very limited impact in our time zone. But, you know, in our London time zone, obviously, is a pretty major event, and we're watching it very closely, and we'll be maintaining a lot of conversation so that we stay on top of the game.
Back to the analyst side, maybe the lady here in the white blouse in the second row.
Thanks, Charles. I have a question. This is Sarah from CICC. I have a question regarding the Shanghai Hong Kong Stock Connect. So last year in 2014, we have around 68 million income from it, and this is $200. But consider that this is a full-year operation, and also the ADT of the northbound and southbound increased year on year. So can you share a bit more on the fee schedule of this Stock Connect? Because it seems 68 million to 200 million is not corresponding to the operating time and ADT. Thanks.
Romy, you want to answer that?
I think Stock Connect was launched in November 17, 2014. And in the calendar year, even though it was only operating for a little over a month, there were some non-recurring revenues coming out of Stock Connect, mainly relating to connection fees and one-time revenue for people to hook up in Hong Kong. And then in 2015, I think it's pretty easy to correlate the revenue to the volumes. The one change was in August, Shanghai Stock Exchange and China Clear dropped their fees, both on the trading fee and the clearing fee. And so that meant that our revenue sharing portion of those fees dropped as well. We get 50% of the northbound fees. And so therefore, the 200 million compared to the 68, first to 68, includes some non-recurring items. So I forget the exact number, I'm not sure it's disclosed, but let's say half of it was non-recurring. And then the 200 in the last 4 or 5 months of the year was a bit lower in terms of the way that we make money. But again, the fees are public, and so you know, this year it'll be driven by volume, and probably on the fee schedule will be lower than last year for northbound. Thank you.
Okay, I think we're back to the reporter side. Maybe the front row, Enoch, South China, in the tan jacket.
Charles, thank you very much. And Ina from South China Morning Post. I want to raise a question about the fourth quarter result. Actually, drop price substantially from the third quarter, and we also see the turnover in the past 2 months is not really good. So, do you think that maybe the declining trend will be one of your major challenges, and how do you think you can cope with that?
Well, we are clearly seeing some difficult times in our industry. Started from the last quarter. And from what we can see for the first quarter, that trend continues. Whether that will continue to dominate the theme this year, I don't really know. We're not in the business of forecasting ADTs, but it's pretty safe to conclude, and you don't need me to do that, is that this year is not going to be like last year. And that's probably an understatement. How much worse this year is going to be over last year, I don't really know, but last year is the record, and hopefully this year is not as bad as it's currently looking. But everything is related to the broader macroeconomic development and also China. I don't think I told you anything that is meaningfully useful, but yeah.
Back to the analyst side. Any questions here in the analyst section? Yes, the gentleman here, I think, in the second row with the dark jacket.
大家好，我是嘉盛投资王鑫，我投资港股和 A 股都超过10年，谢谢管理层和李总上任之后采取了很多措施，但是我们看到这种措施的效果还不够理想，就是我们也比较担心，就长期的这种估值的差异会使市场边缘化。我们看到，虽然这个沪港通实行之后，但是这交易两个市场 A 股和港股这种交易量的差距成10倍的这种相差，就是北水来很少。我们认为是什么原因？后续有人方案能够改善这个事情？有没有想过，比如说取消这个报价的收费来适应国内投资者这种高频交易的需要，或者这一类的，就是我们有没有想这个背后是什么原因？然后这是一个，二一个就是在监管方面能不能加强？因为现在我们看到香港就是越来越多的出现这种像老千股，就是比如说这个比较典型的，比如说超低价这个增发，或者是像汉能薄膜这种，当然这是可能是监管层面的问题，但是可能我们和你们沟通监管可能也是有必要的。汉能薄膜这种股价做到了世界首富才停牌，就这种很明显的监管上的监管的滞后创新的不足，我们对这个香港的这种交易所的前景还是担忧的。谢谢。
对，我当然你担忧，我们也不高兴你担忧，对吧？我们觉得你是像你们这样的，我们有大量的像你这样的投资者，实际上都认为港股在某种意义上讲呢，代表了一种新的治理机制，一种更加平稳安全的法律环境，一个更加可预见的这个市场的这个监管体系。所以说呢，实际上呢，我们所做的很多的工作，都是逐渐的把这市场呢，我们这个市场呢有很多非常独特的非常国际化的这个运作。中国的市场呢有很多独特的方面，这些独特方面的某种在硬件上面的很多呢比实际上国际市场更加先进，交易的方式更加简易简单，那么呢报价系统呢更加的清晰，而且呢很多东西呢都是不收费的。那么因此呢在这个整个的交易模式有很大的不同。那我们呢在不断的希望通过互通也好，通过其他的形式也好，国内投资者的逐渐的大规模的进入国际市场，进入香港，这个大的趋势是在的情况底下，我们肯定会要做一系列的工作呢，使得这种互联互通呢更加容易、更加便捷、更加和国内的交易方式呢更加的让国内投资者更加的喜欢。但是呢同时呢，我们又要呢把这个市场中间核心的一些理念呢要保护住，因为这个香港市场呢作为一个市场管理者呢，你可能会说你们都是很就是都是怎么说？我找不着这个字了。就是说我们比如说市场volume 差了，市场低了，我们会找原因，但我们不会天天的睡不着觉的去想这些事情，因为这个市场就是市场，市场里他不愿意交易。我把脑壳抓破了，他也不交易。我们不会因为想让他交易，我们就可以采取很多的措施来让他交易。明天又不想让他交易了，又还采取很多的措施不让他来交易。因为我们既没有那么大的权利，也没那么大的资源，也没那么大的一种它这个市场中间的这样的激励机制，就一定要去人为的手要伸在这个市场里。但这个市场和内地的市场这样的一个巨大的这么一种价值上的一个鸿沟，对吧？现在说深圳河两边，世界上最贵的市场和世界上最便宜的市场都同时存在。但我觉得呢，我们作为这个最便宜的市场，这只能说明我们是机会啊，对吧？那么这个机会大家还没有看到，那么呢，我想呢，这个最终一定会看到。我们所做的这些，你看我们现在整个市场部呢，已经现在新成立的新的市场部呢，有很大部分的工作呢是不断的把我们的市场充分的介绍给国内的投资者，同时呢充分的了解国内投资者的投资习惯、投资方式，在我们的硬件、软件的安排上呢，尽量能够有所的便利。但最终呢，我们相信这个市场你把基本的管理做好了，你把基本的硬件、软件做好了的话呢，市场该来的时候就会来了。那国内的市场呢，很大程度上呢是带有很大的情绪性。那这个情绪性，我们现在好的时候我们跟着，有时候会有一些坏的时候呢，我们总的来说呢，我们不准备跟着这个情绪走。但是呢，最终我们建设呢是一定要让这个市场的成为一个大家都共同能够接受的一个市场。我又没说什么事儿，对吧？基本上说了一堆没有什么特别大用处的话。 这个效果不理想，你就要问你自己为什么没有用，或者你的客户为什么没有用。我们天天问这个问题，但我觉得呢，这个东西没有关系的，因为什么呢？就是说，中国的大量的投资，很多都是属于一种我们叫 momentum 的，就是一种情绪化的，或者是一种趋势化、潮流化的东西。那这就意味着呢，你光给他讲出道理来，他这个东西很合理。他很多基金毕竟在整个这个内地的投资者中间的这个还是属于一个比较小的一个整体来，散户还是占大头。同时，基金散户化，因为散户这么大的情况底下，散户投什么，你基金不投的话，你就可能跟不上。在这种情况底下的话呢，有的时候这简单的价值啊，简单的方便啊，还不行。但是我们的，你像李刚他们他们的这个部门的人，现在天天都在和各种各样的中介机构、各种各样的投资者呢，全面的在接触。另外就是说，你讲到这个市场的这个监管的问题，你刚才提到了一个老千股啊，等等等等。那我的建议呢，就是说市场里有这个东西呢，请你们就别碰它了，对吧？这样的话呢，你也就不会被烫着，那么呢，你也就不会被伤着。那问题是我们内地很多投资者特喜欢他们，因为在那儿玩好玩，对吧？你买个大蓝筹老不动，那么这个国内投资者喜欢动。那么呢，但是呢，我们在这方面的监管呢，也的确要加强。然后呢，也有很多的，我今天写了一个那个网志，就专门谈这个问题的。所以说呢，回来你不然看一下，然后你给我提点意见，觉得说你根本没有把住脉，问题不在那儿，问题在这儿。我就现在最希望的就有人跟我说，你们的问题是在这儿。我们现在反正尽量的呢，我们进行把脉，我们进行推荐。然后希望我们的监管者带着我们一起把改革做好。但是你说的问题是我们其实非常关心的问题，你帮我看一下，然后我希望你给我发个 email， 我一会儿给你张名片，告诉我做的对还是不对，好吧？
Okay, thank you. We're going to go on now to another online question. This is from Sukrit. Apologies if I mispronounced the name. From Deutsche Bank. It's a strategy and personnel question. Asking us to, he's saying hello, Charles and Paul, so greetings from Sukrit. Asking you to break down the costs for Shanghai Hong Kong Stock Connect, recurring, non-recurring, in 2015, and then to give him some kind of projection or idea about additional staff and implementing strategic plans. Is more staff needed as strategic plan implementation goes forward?
Let me answer the second question first, and Rumi can go, finishing up. I don't think there's a lot of non-recurring, income from Connect this year, and so whatever it is, it is. In terms of staff, yes, we will be increasing. Continue to look at adding staff in areas where staff need to be added. Particularly in areas where, for example, in the commodity space, particularly in the spot commodity project that we're going to be built into China. We will be doing it through an offshore company, onshore company subsidiary, and there will be, a number of new executives that we'll be hiring. And then when, the platform get launched, then we will have additional sales and marketing and IT management, personnel. And we believe those are very manageable investment. And we're not talking about huge numbers. We're talking about, small increment over our cost base. But if you think this year is very difficult, so are there any way for you, are you prepared to cut costs? Are you going to be able to do a layoff? Are you going to be able to do something to react to a very difficult market? I just want to let people know that we will be controlling our cost. We will be looking at our expense like we always do. But our business is a very different business. We have a pretty significant fixed basis of fixed cost, and 60-some% of that cost base are staff cost. And the staff cost, we do need, these people to operate this exchange. We have higher operating leverage, which means that, when our ADT is going through the roof, a lot fall down to the bottom line. But in a difficult market, it's pretty difficult for us to move our cost line because we're not like manufacturers that we can, control the raw materials, we can control the production lines, and we have to operate the market whether or not, people are trading at, 90 billion today or 120 billion or 60 billion like yesterday. We have no control over that, but the people we need to run this market is largely there. So, we may be able to delay a few things, and we may be able to, sort of optimizing some of the cost structures. But whatever we're going to do, the actual, impact on our margins and the actual impact on our P&L is going to be quite limited, by cutting cost.
Sucrit's question was actually on the cost and the profitability of Stock Connect. I think let me answer the question by saying we have some project costs. Most of the Shanghai, Hong Kong Stock Connect project costs were incurred in 13 and 14, and the CapEx and some of the capitalized people costs are being depreciated as we speak. In terms of recurring profitability for the Connect programs, I would say the best assumption is just to use the same profit margins as you do for our normal business. They shouldn't be very different from those. Thanks.
Anything else on the cost from...
Let's move away from cost.
Okay, Charles. All right, we're going to go back to another online question. This is from, I believe, London. Prakama Desai with Reuters is asking, and I'm quoting, quote, "We understand LME made an informal approach to Baltic Exchange late last year. Can you confirm that? Secondly, our sources say Baltic Exchange valuation was around $120 million US. Would you agree with that number? What would the Baltic Exchange...
What was the 122 million?
I'm sorry. Our sources, Reuters sources, say Baltic Exchange valuation was around 120 million.
Wow, 120 billion?
No, million, my mistake.
Okay.
120 million US. Would you agree with that number? And would you, how would you see the Baltic Exchange bringing value to LME, HKEX, any kind of value terms?
That's way ahead of ourselves here. I will not confirm, I will not deny anything. When it comes to M&A, no matter how small it is, how large it is, it's not something that we comment on. We continue to explore a variety of business opportunities, some of them involving a partnership, others involving building out new business. There might be others that are involving potential acquisition, but I'm not going to comment on any specific situations here. And please do not read that into anything. Yeah.
Very clear. Thank you. I understand Bosco from Economic Journal on the far side has a question, front row, I think.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Charles. I'm Bosco from Hong Kong Economic Journal. Congratulations on the solid result first. I have a question about the credit agency Moody has just lowered down the China credit rating from the stable to the negative. Could you just share your view, your opinions to us? What's the impact of this action on both Hong Kong market and the Hong Kong Stock Exchange? As we all know that we have a closer and closer cooperation and the relationship with the China financial market. So I would like to know what is your view.
Yeah, I have not read the full report. I read some, quick summaries of it. And, so I really couldn't comment on whether or not it is something that I would personally agree. And it doesn't really matter. It's the analyst at the rating agency that is conducting a particular review and is using, as you can see in that report, a whole range of assumptions. And many assumptions you may or may not agree with, but it does not matter. Based on those assumptions, he has come up with that recommendation or a particular rating decision. And I think, any rating decision is going to have some impact. And since this is the downgrade, it will be hard to imagine that, this has any impact other than it's probably on the negative. But how negative it is depending on whether or not people actually truly understand and believe in the assumption that is made that is driving that outcome. But I think, China, has a very strong financial position, has a very strong, has very limited foreign borrowings. And so I think, the practicality of that result on anything is very marginal because we're not in, it's not like they are substantial amount of outstanding debt that need to be repriced, and somehow, any changes in a rating outlook is going to substantially changing the cost nature. And China's own financial market is still largely insulated and is not responding, with those sort of rating changes outside China. So I personally think, it's clearly something that everybody's looking at it, but I am not in a position to articulate as to whether or not, this is going to have anything meaningfully impacting China. I'm really looking forward to a question that I can say something useful. I saw a lot of hands on this side. I'd like to give. 延迟和压后啊，你先把问题给我问下来，是 yes and no 是吧？我不知道会延迟还是拖后，因为我不知道在你心目中间的那个日子应该是什么啊。
How are we going to do? Do you want to go with this? Maybe we can do
no,
Mr.
You're the boss.
Okay. Mr. Poon, very quickly, please. A very quick question, then we'll go on that side. And we'll do whoever raised their hand over there. Thank you, Charles.
I understand your stance about not talking about M&A, but I think if you can be a bit more helpful to the investment community and maybe the media, can you also talk a little bit about what's your general guideline or criteria if you are going for something, just like when you bought LME back to 2012? Thank you.
Yeah, we are pretty busy doing what we do. We do not go around and trying to shop around and trying to see who is up for sale and decide whether or not that's something that we want to buy. When things do come up, we will look at them. And we have a pretty solid portfolio of organic growth and also external growth that we actually can be solely responsible without having to pay anybody. We will be making investment into China. We're building this spot platform. We're, launching all the products. We are trying to connect with China whenever China Inc. is ready to connect. So a lot of those, we much more prefer to do things that is totally within our control. And however, if there are opportunities that present themselves, without us going around and soliciting them, that add value to what we do, we will look at them, because we wanted to build an ecosystem of commodity trading that is rooted from China's commodity, because it's the biggest consumer market and the biggest production market, and to the extent any other assets that can be complementary to that business, whether they are in additional data providers, additional index providers, additional trading possibilities that is important for us. And also from a timing perspective, it coincides, broadly speaking, with the overall strategic program. I think we will be looking at it. And, if you think whether or not we are going out for LME type of acquisition, no, we're not. We have plenty of, unlike many other companies, I'm not suggesting the current players have run out of a growth space. That's why they have to merge. We actually have a lot of things that will continue to sustain our growth into the future. But whenever opportunities arises that supplement and complement that growth, we'll be looking at it. But we're not actively looking for something just to add on to a portfolio of things that we want.
There's a lady in the third row with the gray sweater who's had her hand up several times. I think she's ready with the question.
谢谢你，Thank you。我是商业电台记者林欣欣，想问一下，就是从2016年踏入2016年之后，那个 IPO 的总量是明显减少了。你怎么看？就是2015年那个基数这么大，16年会不会出现一个明显的 IPO 那个实质量的下降呢？而且就是你怎么看？这2016年最大的困难对于香港交易所是什么样呢？谢谢。
IPO 的话呢，你这个 IPO 我们对 IPO 的控制是比较有限的，因为这个不像是有些产品，你 launch 了以后，你去 promote， 你去 market， 然后你 get a lot of customers， you build the system， 大家都来交易。这个 IPO 这个市场呢，是属于是要由这个上市的发行者，他有需求，所以他呢，这个经常呢，这里边呢就对他们有影响的呢，经常就是整个其他的它的银行市场怎么样啊，它的发展周期怎么样啊，它在国内的 A 股市场上有没有发展的可能性啊？他在那边，他融了资以后，是不是要到国外去发展的？所以像今年的话呢，我们现在已经在 pipeline 里面有几个非常大的 IPO。那这些大的 IPO 的话呢，很多有几个都是从国内来的，所以他们这个根据他们自己不同的，所以我们现在很难预料今年的 IPO 会怎么样。我们从来没有把 IPO 我们要全球第一、第二、第三，我们 IPO 多少，我们从来不把它作为我们的一个指标。因为这个指标是你自己不可控制的，你唯一的指标是把自己市场做好，然后有足够的这个需求，然后特别是刚才这位先生也提出来了，如果说你要能够把这估值能够有一个大家估值能够有个很好的提升，那我们的 IPO 市场肯定就会逐渐的越来越火起来。所以从这个角度来讲的话呢，我觉得我们不太去看这个指标，所以说呢，我也就没有什么特别多的新的措施。说做完了以后是不是就有一定的变化？那么今年最大的困难，我倒是觉得港交所，我不知道你怎么看困难。你困难的话呢，就是说你要说我们有些什么问题，这些问题不解决，我们可能就生意就要丢了，我们的 revenue 要下来了的话，我没看到这样的问题。因为所有的我们看到的困难，实际上在某种意义上讲呢，又能够让我们抓得住。你比如说，大家说大宗商品现在非常困难 ，LME 现在好像从 LME 的这个表现上看，比如说好像在 volume 上好像在减少，恰恰就是商品的这样的一种低落，给我们2年的黄金时间，闯入这个一个新的市场，建立一个新的市场。如果今天大家整个大宗商品都是属于火热的不得了，大家都抢货抢矿，把东西拿来不用也放在自己的那个仓库里边，囤在那边，因为价格在往上涨，没有现货市场可以给你，没有办法让你去建现货市场，没有融资的，大家需要融资的可能性，拿到的货就已经是钱了。未来的2-3年，中国的大宗商品市场的这个流通领域会遇到非常大的困难。产能在削减，银行的融资不到位，风险积聚在清算这个流通领域里边，所以谁要能够在这一块把这个服务提上去，把有公信力的平台加上去，能把业界所有解决不了的融资问题、仓储问题、认证问题、增信问题全部都解决的话，那大家就全部都会到这个交易平台上来交易，那就意味着这样的话，我们就有可能在2-3年里边建一个大的商品的 IPO 市场在国内，然后在 IPO 市场上一旦建立了是我们了，它就会长出无数的庄家来，你就一茬一茬的可以去丰收。所以说那样的话呢，这样那最困难的时候反而有可能变成我们最容易的时候。比如说现在 A 股市场去年非常火的时候，大家都觉得很多内地的朋友都跟我说，小佳你别老在那吹忽悠，不需要你们香港干什么，我们什么都可以干了。那今天会发现呢，还是有很多事情香港是可以干的，香港能干得更好，而且中国有了香港比没有香港好很多很多。承认不承认，嘴上承认不承认，心里一定都明白。
I see Betty with ODN, second row, gray top. There.
Betty.
Hi, Charles. Do you agree with SFC should have more influence on listing matter, or simply the listing approval should be transferred to SFC? Thank you.
Who said we're going to transfer the listing function to the SFC? Nobody, right? Great. Nobody said that. Huh?
More influence, you said.
So SFC said they want to move? They have not said that, right? Great.
Hang on, wait for the mic. Okay, go ahead.
Do you agree with SFC should have more influence on listing matters? Should have more influence on listing matters?
SFC should have...
Because of the problematic company seems to be getting more and more nowadays. Do you think that the SFC should have more influence on listing matter? Okay.
Very important, question. If we have some companies that have questions and problems, if people think that's because the listing entrance hurdle examination is relaxed, and that's the cause of it. That's wrong. You can look at every company that today that you don't like, that you think there's a problem. You go back and look at how they were when they were applying. I would challenge anybody who can tell me that this company should not have been listed with the information known to the regulator, to the listing committee, to the listing division, to the SFC at the time, that should not have been listed, but because you didn't do your job, it's got listed and becoming a problem, and therefore we need to change. If anybody is making those conclusions, I'd like to have a challenge with you one-on-one at some point, on a stage or at home or somewhere, because that's wrong. I don't think any company that has gone bad, if you think it has gone bad, is the result of failures of our listing department, of our listing committee, of our listing regime. Having said that, am I supportive of greater SFC involvement? Absolutely. The regulator can be involved as much as they deem to be appropriate. And we are a regulator. We would love to be able to work closely with the SFC, and we continue to do so. And I think in this future efforts of continue to looking at ways to enhance and improve, we will continue to do so. And also, anytime we make a change, sometimes it's because you didn't do it right, and that's why we have to change it. It's not the case here. The case here is whatever system we have had has been with us for 15-some years now. Our market is becoming a very different place. There are many things today that we need to do it differently that calls for certain changes in the way we review them. And that's how we're going to do it. So I would not want to build the few connectors together because our system works. It's a great system, but we're going to work with our regulators to continue to improve them, make them even better.
Okay, maybe the lady in the front row, I think she's had her hand up a few times, with the blue pen in the second section here.
你好 ，TVB 财经记者叶贤，就是想问一下，有传闻说中国证监会的新任的主席刘士余上任之后，就计划把深港通线放在一边，就延迟推出呢？你怎么回应这个传闻呢？然后就是有没有其他的优化沪港通的措施？最后就是港交所有没有兴趣去收购那个伦敦交易所呢？谢谢。
第三个问题刚才已经回答了，好吧？可能你要是万一没听清的话，可能是翻译没搞好，咱们怪到翻译那边啊。这个沪港通的会在深港通推出的时候，沪港通会有一系列的这个叫扩容啊，增强啊，一些额度的改变啊，这都有可能包含在这个沪港通的扩容和沪港通的升级上边。那这个呢，估计要做的话呢，也是和深港通的推出一起做，不会单独先做一个扩容，应该来说是一起做。那么呢，什么时候有深港通出来的时候呢，我们什么时候会公布一些非常详细的沪港通的扩容和升级怎么做？你刚才讲的传闻的好多传闻呢，那我一个个要是都回应这个传闻的话，那就什么时间也没有了。谢谢。
Another question far back, Paolo with the far back, Paolo with the blue, and with RMB Weekly. Thank you, RMB Monthly.
你那个传闻，如果说是从这个刘主席身边的人很可靠的话，下来你告诉我，那我也长一点见识啊。
Hi Charles. Two quick questions. One, besides Shenzhen, any other features in terms, you were talking about software and hardware for the market, any other features that you think need to be added to the Stock Connect in its current configuration, expansion on short selling, anything like that? What do you think could be coming? Second question, any more details on Bond Connect? Chatter has been going on, I think, for about ever since Stock Connect started, but not much has been heard beyond that. I was wondering whether last week's CIBM reform in China makes the plan for Bond Connect a little bit moot, or what do you think the role could be for Bond Connect? Thank you.
I think there are a variety of things we're going to enhance on Shanghai on the Connect program. I think we already done quite a few. I don't think, in the next round, we are anticipating significant changes on features like short sellings and others, because in light of the market conditions in China, those, heavily and, features that potentially have, create selling pressures are probably going to be something that will have to wait. But we will look at inclusions of greater underlines. We will be looking at we will continue to be looking at holiday arrangement, so that at some point into the future, not anytime soon, because this has to do with the banks and others, that we wanted to find ways to solve some of the holiday issues, because if one market is open, the other is not, and there's a holiday on the other, and there's a major movement in market, we wanted to find ways over time, again, nothing in the imminent future, that find people at least for investor to be able to manage that risk exposure. On Bond Connect, I just want to make a point that we are making good progress. The fact you're not hearing about it does not mean we're not making good progress. But I'm not in a position to actually go into a lot of specifics. But the idea is pretty simple. There are two markets that we could potentially connect, and we're pursuing both. One is there is exchange-traded bond market. The Shanghai Exchange has significant a number of corporate issues now, and even though it's still a small portion vis-a-vis the banking market, it is growing very fast. And connecting that with us is very easy, because easily you can just put them into the underlying portfolio of Connect. So that's something that we will be pursuing with Shanghai Exchange. Secondly, is to build a Connect with the banking model, or with the banking OTC market. There, the reform they announced just a few days ago is actually a great opportunity. You could say that they actually opened for a lot of people to go there, and I think our concept of building a Bond Connect was never about you cannot go to China, and therefore you come here. It's all about you can't go, you don't want to go, even if they allow you to go, because the big boys will go, take a big chunk, but there are a lot of other smaller institutions, hedge funds, other investment funds and insurance companies. For them to actually open up accounts into China, creating a big clearing obligation, are not something that they wish to do. They're not doing enough. So we're really talking about that second group of people who wanted to deal with China bond, but do not have the resources or do not feel enough incentive to do it directly. And also they want to do it, quickly in a trading environment. And, so that's why we are doing something here in Hong Kong. And we probably will be a partner up with a number of other players, because this is not an area that we have traditional core competence, but we will partner with a few key players so that we can bring the parties together. Our whole point about Bond Connect is not about creating a bond trading platform where we can make a lot of money trading bonds. Bonds don't trade that well. Exchange don't make a lot of money on trading bonds. But when you have a lot of cash bond trading on your market, it's almost like a commodity market. We're not going to make a lot of money for people to trade the cash commodity spot market. It's all about building benchmarks in the cash market and then launching derivative contracts, whether interest rate, exchange rate, or credit, onto those benchmarks is really the key into the future. Yeah.
Lady, second seat in, who's had her hand up before. We're going to let her ask a question now. Apologies for the mix-up.
小佳你好，我是现代电视记者艾琳。我有一个问题，就是我们知道星期一的时候，在港股上面有3只股份是遭到洗仓式的下跌哈，然后呢，部分的个股的跌幅达到了65%这么多。对于这个的话，您觉得对于这个港交所推3板会有什么启示吗？会不会是推动港交所要加快推出这个3板？谢谢。
我想这个具体的公司我不介入去评论，但是呢，这件事情本身，首先。大家第一看到的是不好，出事了，股价掉这么多，一下肯定有什么问题了。一般来说，这公司都是出了这些重要的问题，才有可能掉到这么深。 所以你现在如果是那个公司的投资者，你肯定非常的痛苦。你出来了，你可能已经损失已经实现了；你没出来的话，你可能觉得在这里边，也有可能套住了。所以这个呢，我是觉得从这个角度来讲呢，肯定大家觉得这是一个stressful moment， 是一个大家感到比较紧张和一个焦虑的时代。但这也本身说明我们这个市场能够迅速的把问题给洗出去，对吧？就这个市场的交易，我不会，你在很多市场，在内地市场，你60不可能一个公司撂60，得照6个涨停板才能出来。对吧？这一下子就到位了。那么到位了以后，当然你在里边的人那肯定恨死你廖家说这个话。我在里边，你说我到位了挺好，但是反正这个事情如果有这个问题的话呢，它该怎么样就怎么样。那么呢，我觉得我们的对于这个我们这个创业板也好啊，对于一些壳公司的这些将来的出路啊、改革呀，刚才讲的这些，今天我们的这个网志里面讲的这些东西呢，这都是一个。都是我们一个很重要的动力，就是把这个市场逐渐的能够把这些有一些有问题的公司呢，可能逐渐清理出去。我不是说这几间公司它就是有问题，因为我不具体的评论这几间公司出了什么问题，但总的来说呢，我们会不断的去改善这个公司。但是呢，我还回过头来再说一个刚才已经说过的这个观点，就是说市场是3段监管，第一是入口。第2是中间执法，第3呢是让它强制的出口。真正好的市场，重点在出口。你出口很顺了，进口低点就没关系，这样的话就可以把好公司带进来，然后呢很容易的把坏公司清洗出去。你如果这个市场不去解决出口，你就一定会难于解决入口。所以说呢，这个我们就希望这2个呢综合起来要解决。一个市场里边的进出机制一定要匹配，一个很好的退出机制，才能使得你有一个宽松的准入机制。你再强的准入机制，可是你没有很强的退出机制，仍然保证不了这个市场不会充斥一些有问题的公司，最后长期的在这个市场里待很长时间。那具体怎么改？再一次强调。香港是程序正义，财产保护，不会因为今天监管者有一个想法突发想起来说，这个事情应该把它改了以后，咱们就不管已经在这个里面的利益群体，一定要广泛征求意见，形成市场共识。我们过去的经验告诉我们，这是他不好好做足功课，市场的冲击也会很大。所以说这个呢，我们要在我们的监管部门领导下、指导下，全面的把它做好。
Okay, we have another question from the online community. This is a reporter again, Pradama Desai, Reuters in London, asking very specifically, the plan to create a mainland spot commodity market, would that be prompt trading for physically deliverable metals? Would it need approval of the CSRC? If the contracts are physically deliverable metal, would that be a way of getting LME warehouse expertise into mainland China, a first foot in the door?
The answer is yes to all questions. It is a spot market that is physically settled. And number 1 or number 2, the answer to number 2 is a no. Whether or not that spot trading requires CSRC approval, the answer is no. And whether or not that will allow us to leverage the LME experience into China, the answer is yes.
Great. Like 1 or 2 more questions. Luke with ET, I think. Luke in the back, blue.
But make sure we answer Eric's question too.
Okay.
小江你好，因为刚才听到很多关于3板的事情，因为我们看见就是在上个星期的budget 其实也提到联交所跟证监会很快就会有一个关于上市推广的一个公开咨询，就是在这个consultation 里面会提及这个3板的问题，还有很多关于入口出口的问题会在里面看得见。如果没有的话，这个 framework 会不会很厚才会改变得大？你怎样看这个时间点的问题？
这个 consultation 如果要做的话呢，肯定是我们和 SFC 一起做，那肯定是在 SFC 的领导之下来做。那么呢，今天的话呢，我没有授权能够来讨论这个咨询什么时候做、怎么做， 包括什么内容。但是呢，据我自己的了解呢，它这个就是刚才讲3板啊、创业板呐、和这些东西呢，不是非常必要的全部都连在一起的。既没有必要全部等到一起都到齐了再做。照我的理解了啊，这个也没有是说一定是分开的。但你分开也好，一起也好，什么时候也好，我觉得呢，这个是我们要有待是 SFC 在 SFC 的领导下，我们一起把这个事情准备工作做好。那么呢，我们这个在这个 FS 的这个报告里边明确讲了，这个 consultation 不是一个永远未来的，而且一个比较接近的一个未来。当时这个是具体的 ，Lorraine 那个 FS 那个具体的那个 timing 的那个 words 是什么？很快 ，soon， OK， soon。So let's go figure out how soon is soon. Okay.
Okay, next question and last question because we're running out of time. Eric with ET in the second row, white shirt, dark jacket. Thank you.
Hi, Charles. Just a quick follow-up on the listing regulation issue. I think you talked more than about one time your philosophy about getting the companies, problematic companies out of the market, not just about to higher the threshold and make it difficult to enter the market. Could you elaborate a bit on that? Would it be about speeding up the process of the prolonged suspension companies the listing process? Or
okay, I think you're just trying to get me in trouble for. I have already said enough. You probably think I have not said enough that get me in trouble. So you want me to say more so that there's a greater chance for me to get into trouble. So let me just make sure, people understand what I'm saying. I'm not suggesting. I have no authority, and I'm not in a position, and it is not my job to suggest whether or not today our market need to enter into, company delisting process, changing the regime. It is up to the regulator working together with the regulatory system, with the market together to figure out what to do. I'm trying to say from a logical, analytical perspective, I want people to understand that why we are trying to, what are we trying to achieve in trying to reform our current regime. And the point I'm trying to make is that some of us, whenever we criticize our system, we just simply good companies. Some good companies are blocked from coming in. Are there ways to bring them in? I'm suggesting, because we all would like to do that. But meanwhile, we also have other friends who are saying every time you lower the hurdle, you have a lot of bad companies coming in. And then still others are saying that even if you can block them and they become bad, what do you do about them? So I'm just trying to build a logical relationship, analytical relationship between this few. The point I'm really making is we would like to get more great companies to coming in, but unless we're able to fix the exit challenges, it will be very difficult for us to find anything to do to bring better companies, because when we say better companies, if they already qualify, they're already in. We don't need to do anything. We're really talking about whether or not we want to find ways to lower the hurdle for good companies to come. I'm only suggesting that this is not going to work unless you're able to make sure that if they're wrong and turn out to be a bad company, that the system does not allow them to stay there forever. And if you do not change that, there's no way you will be able to change the entrance. That's all. I'm not suggesting it's time to do it. I'm not suggesting we should do it. I have no authority and to suggest that that's something that we should do. It's our job to provide a perspective, an analytical background and share the thoughts. And hopefully people actually say, we disagree, you can do it. You don't have to do that, you could do it. So anybody have brilliant ideas, any idea that we haven't talked about it, let us know, let the regulator know, because we are all here together wanting to improve our market.
Okay, Charles, thank you. It's now 6 o'clock, so it's very late. Thank you all for coming, and see you next time.
Thank you very much. Yeah.